Welcome to another episode of Discover St. Cloud, Florida. I'm Kristin Macari, and I'm here with your host,
Jeanine Corcoran, broker for Corcoran Connect, a real estate company.
And it is that time of the month again, folks, where we are going to talk about what happened in the real estate market in St. Cloud, Florida for March of 2022. So what is going on in St. Cloud?
So we like to break it up by zip code because St. Cloud it has many zip codes. It's a large area. So we always pull single family homes. And so right now we have 18 active and 78 pending. In 34769, which includes the city of St. Cloud, we had 25 sold in the month of March. And we separated them because we always find it interesting, the price per square foot of a one-story versus a two-story. And so we had 22 one-story sell, and they sold at an average of $213.17 price per square foot, which is a good number.
Yeah, it's really good.
And then we had 3 two-stories sell, and they were at $109.95. And sometimes you have one that might be low. I think we have one about 69 in the 60s that sold and just brought the number down a little bit.
Right.
But anyway, so that's quite interesting to see.
Yeah.
Do you want to do 7-1?
Yeah.
7-1, just so you know, that is the busiest zip code.
It
like
is.
the most sales.
Well, that includes parts of Narcoossee.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's like that whole area, too. So, it is a highly desirable area. It's like, Lake Nona South. So
Yeah, all of the growth is coming from that.
Right.
Yeah, Lake
So
Nona South. That's
it's just kind of southern Lake Nona. It's just, bleeding into Osceola County. And so that's probably why that's one of the busier areas. I mean, it also includes things like Bay Lake Ranch too, coming out our way.
That's true.
So for 34771, now how many, well, I'll go ahead and break down the number of solds. We had 75 sold. It was almost an even split between 1 and 2 stories, 37 37 1 stories and then 38 2 stories. And the 1 story homes were sold at $236.46 price per square foot. And then the 2 stories were $185.54 per square foot.
Maybe that was one that had
No, I did see the one with the $60 on 769.
Okay.
So that was the one. But how many actives and pendings are there right now?
So right now in 34771 we have 56 actives and 258 pending.
That's bonkers.
258.
That's a lot of houses pending.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of statistics for next month and maybe the month after. But that's crazy. Yeah, it really is a busy zip code right now.
Oh yeah, very busy, busy. And that's where our office is, right there on Narcoossee Road. So yeah. So 34772, which includes the manor, the manor and other, outlying areas and
Esprit, Canoe Creek Road, that
whole area. Right now there are 41 actives and only 108 pending. See, that's a big difference compared to 34771.
Right.
But as far as sales, we had 69 properties, 69 single family homes sell, and 52 of them were 1 stories, and they came at $228.45 on the single stories price per square foot, and the 2 stories, there was 17 of them, and they came at $176.27. So I don't know if folks realize it, but usually a 1 story brings a lot more price per square foot. Right. And then the smaller the house too in square footage, the higher the square footage. Like you can have a 4,000 square foot house is selling at, what?
160.
Yeah. And then you have a single story selling over 200. So, and we talked about this on another podcast, but that's why it's you shouldn't always just rely on a price per square foot. But I know folks like to hear that, so that's why we include it in the report.
It's a good statistic, just general baseline, I think, if you will, for overall how the market's doing. Kind of guess, but we're still seeing incredible growth in the numbers. The overall price per square foot, price per house, that sort of thing.
Even with the interest rates in the 5s.
Right.
Unless you're VA. VAs are still low interest rate. FHA is a little bit lower, but, otherwise they're pretty in the mid 5s already. Right? Going up to.
It is. I think I saw something that it was like the highest in over 10 years that we've reached. So, it's kind of crazy that we got so accustomed to, because, okay, can we be real for a second? Over 5%, 5.5%. That's still a low interest rate. Think about the 80s in the 17, 18, 19%. That's
crazy
still,
time.
I mean, it's, it's
a
high,
perspective where you're coming from.
Right.
when you come from the low, you're like, oh my gosh, it's high. You know?
Right.
But then if you were up high, you know what I mean?
Right.
So.
And even in like, you think early 2000s, like I remember before the first, you know, like that early 2000s booms, they were like in the 6s. Like it's still not crazy. So anyway, you know, just some perspective, but I know we all got really, really spoiled with like the 2s and the 3s. And so to be at 5, it is kind of, and it did go fast too.
But, and let's talk about that for 1 second, because when interest rates go up, like what happens to a buyer? Like we talked about that with new build. You know, new builds, they might be in the 2s or the 3s when they started a year ago, and now they're in the 5s. So what happens?
Right. I mean, it does impact. Hopefully, you had some buffer there in your affordability, because.
But it can affect the debt to income ratio.
Absolutely.
That's what lenders use. How much debt do you have based on how much income?
Right.
And if your payment rises because of the interest rate,
right,
and you're bumped out of that because of the interest rate,
right,
you either have to bring more money or you have to get a lesser house.
Right. Absolutely. And so it's, you know, it's definitely the only good thing I think I mean, I guess not really. If you were buying towards the top of your price range before, then you are, you know, really stuck in a hard place. Hopefully over the past year, you've had some, you know, raises and income and stuff like that as well to help offset it. But it is definitely a real problem. So we'll see how some of these, you know, new builds, as they, you know, kind of come to completion and buyers are getting ready to close, you know, what they're able to do to make sure that they get closed. So it is definitely making a difference in people's purchasing behavior and affordability. So we'll see what it does with the overall market, you know, in general. But right now things are still selling and there's still multiple offers on houses. Yeah. So,
well, if you're working with a realtor, you know, that's a good option too. Like when we have buyers in certain areas, we'll call all the different builders, because you might just hit them on a day that someone just fell through because of that.
Right.
And then just a simple conversation. You know, what do you have? Hey,
right.
Joe, what do you have? I got a buyer. Do you have anything that looks like it might fall through?
Right.
No, I don't. But you know what? Give me a call in a couple of days, and
right.
one of them's on the fence. Right. You know what I mean? So that's another way too to go ahead and secure possibly a house that might pop back on the market.
Right. And especially because those typically, if you're falling out because of financing like that, it's down the line. You know, these houses are nearing completion or almost complete.
Which is nice.
You know, so at least it's something more immediately available.
Isn't that how you got your house? Or didn't it fall through for a reason?
It did fall through, yeah.
Do you know why?
No, well, I guess there was a misunderstanding about how much property was left behind the house. And then when it got slabbed, they were like, oh no, we thought we had a much bigger backyard. And so they canceled. But it worked out really well for us. So thank you, whoever you were that did not.
I didn't know that story.
Well, listen, I come from a house that has a lot the size of this office. It's like 10 by 10, and it's
a postage stamp.
It really is. It's not even worth getting a lawnmower. You can cut the grass with scissors. That's how small it is.
Okay,
and
Grandma.
So for me, like, the backyard's absolutely gorgeous. So I really don't mind. But I guess if you're accustomed to more space, you know, it could be smaller, but whatever. I'm very grateful because they did tons of upgrades that I would not have paid for myself because I'm too cheap. And so thank you. But yeah, that is how we really lucked out. We just happened to call the builder. They just happened to cancel. And it was the perfect floor plan for us and in a price we could afford. And so we were really lucky because we'd been searching for over a year and it was really hard. You know, it's really challenging being entering the market.
Kristen's in the market,
right? I'm in the industry. Like, I know what to do. It's just it's
she couldn't find a house.
Yep.
So that was a phone call. I didn't realize that too.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. It was just, hey, what do you got? And they said, well, we have one that, you know, fits your needs. The other one's like really too small for you. So, but it worked out. So I'm really grateful. And it is an option, you know, for buyers. You know, and I think that's also one of those things where it's, you know, somewhat, I would almost say even a little less competitive, because I don't know that people are necessarily on top of it. Like, it's an opportunity for you to buy it now, accept their price and buy it now, versus having to go into multiple offer situations. And, you know, so it is definitely an option if you can find something like that. So anyway,
what about 34773?
34773.
So that includes Harmony, and it goes all the way through Hollow Park.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. And out in 34773, there were 15 houses sold. It was an even split of 7 2-stories and 7 1-stories. Actually, that doesn't add up. because if there were 15, that'd be
one was left out.
14. Okay, so one was left out. I'm not really sure which one. But anyway, so the 1-stories were 203.66 a square foot, and the 2-stories were 218.90 a square foot. So a little bit closer in the 34773 range in terms of price per square foot than you did see.
Not a whole lot. So right now there's only 12 active, and that's all of that zip code, and 71 pendings compared to, what do we say, 200 and how many?
Yeah,
34771.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like.
Yep.
So much activity.
And being out, like, I'm in the 34773 area, so being out here, you feel like it's like crazy busy, but I guess it's nothing compared to 34771 where you guys
on that
are.
road, and even if you take Narcoossee, which is part of 347, the whole, I mean, it's just crazy busy.
Yeah.
Like traffic and just building and
everything.
Schools and it's nuts.
Yep.
That's where our office is, and we're only at the beginning though, so we don't have to go that far.
Right.
But
no, it's great. It's great, and there's a lot of growth in St. Cloud. I know some people don't necessarily like growth, but it is growth either way. So wherever you fall on the fence, if you're looking to get out and move somewhere more rural, give us a call. We'd love to give you a free estimate on your home. And again, it's all really. Each home is going to be different. Each home needs to be looked at differently. I know we provide these numbers as statistics just as a general baseline, but each home could be adjusted either way.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's super important to have somebody come out and take a look at it.
And even those online, like the estimates and stuff, all they do is computer generate from sales nearby. So again, kind of like this, giving you price per square foot. I mean, it's really... It's like a...
Right. Do you have a new roof? That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, the ballpark, it's just,
General baseline.
General baseline. So definitely call your realtor, have them come out, sit with you, talk to them, and if you're thinking of selling, don't wait. Have that conversation too, because some people is like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't. I get those phone calls all the time. It's like, let me just come talk to you.
Right.
No pressure. That type of thing. So.
And it gives you a good idea. It might help you. It might help you get off the fence one way or the other. You might be like, you know what? No, I'd rather stay where I'm at. Or you might be like, heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Now's my opportunity to get out. And so definitely give us a call if you'd like some more information on your home and getting listed.
Speaking of that, I was talking to one of our neighbors, Bob, and he's walking his dog, and I was, because he has the same house I have, and I said, oh, hey, Bob, do you see, down on my street, we have one sell for like $395, and he's like, what? Because he has a pool.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. I was like, you could probably, definitely get over 4 for yours. He's like, he goes, I wasn't even thinking of moving. Why did I run into you?
Right.
He's like, I have to rethink this.
Right. They've been there forever, too. They used to be my backyard neighbors. Yes, and I know exactly which house you're talking about.
Yeah, but anyway, so they're a great family.
Yeah.
You've known them a long time. But anyway, so then we move on to land. Okay?
Yes,
so
vacant land.
And so right now we have 102 active and 32 pending, but we only had 20 sell last month.
Right.
And so, do you have any?
They really range. I mean, so you've got some lots out in suburban, et cetera, that sell. That's not really buildable land. It's just, for you to have access to suburban.
Mm-hmm.
So you have some of those in there that, kind of will skew the numbers a bit. But some bigger pieces of property, like off on Hickory Tree Road, 10 acres, sold for $2.2 million. And then a couple of other bigger ones. We had one on 17th Street that was 36 acres that sold for $325. So I'm like, what? That can't be right. Like, did they miss a zero?
3 acres?
Right. Did they, was it supposed to be 3.25 million? So, I'm not sure.
But did you see who's financing it?
It is seller financing.
So there must be something going on that we don't know.
Yeah. Interesting stuff there. So, and then you have... I
hope someone didn't take advantage of someone on 17th Street.
I hope not either. We should look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up that vacant land.
Looking it up, I'll sing.
Yeah.
Not.
Please don't. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I find it interesting, just going back to the price per square foot, that I had a conversation with someone recently that he was determined that his house price per square foot, of course he grabbed the highest price per square foot in his community, and that's what he thought his house sold for. But there's so many variables. What is your roof like, AC, how much yard space do you have, Single story versus 2-story. What's the age of your house? You get deducted money off of your age of your house based on other comps in the area. If you're an older house built in, even in the early 2000s, do you have, where you don't have granite countertops or something like that. So there's just too many variables. And ultimately, the appraiser is the one that decides how much your house is worth. But, as a homeowner, as brokers, we like to get, if you have any improvements, to go ahead and give us your list, give us your price list, tell us what you spent. Because that'll all be provided to appraisers, when they come, which helps. So what do you have?
Oh, they totally put in the acreage. It was not 36 acres. It was only 0.21 acres, so that makes a whole lot more sense, and
gosh.
it's commercial.
Okay,
so that's why it was the price that it was. So good. Nobody was taken advantage of on 17th Street. It was a very small commercial lot.
Okay, well, that's what makes us feel better.
Yes,
thanks
absolutely.
for verifying.
Yeah, no problem. But that's super. That's super exciting, and I think land's again, I think we mentioned this once before. The land's the hot commodity.
Yeah, I get so many calls for land.
Yeah, if you can't get a house, you're like, well, let me just buy land and then I can put a house on it, so.
I know. I was talking to an investor not too long ago that basically said, what is it that we don't have a lot of? Land.
Right. You can't make more of it.
Yep.
It's a finite amount.
It's gone.
Yep. So it's
there's
definitely.
There's still some pockets.
Right.
That we have our eye on.
Yep.
But I'll probably be long gone by the time anything's built there.
Yeah. No kidding.
So anyway, where do people find the report?
So you can find it on the CorcoranConnection.com. Actually, just kidding. Website change, CorcoranConnect.com. Go to Communities St. Cloud, and then the reports are going to be listed there for you. And we'll leave you the link in the description below. And then also you can find our podcast on pretty much every platform now, including Amazon and Facebook, which I didn't know.
I know, that's nuts.
Yeah. So apparently Facebook has podcasts now. Didn't know that, but it'll push right out to it. So you can also catch the podcast.
And where do you find it? Because I just saw it appear, and I was like, how did that happen?
Right. So if you can only currently, it's only supported through the mobile app. So if you go in through the app, the Facebook app.
Oh, not on regular desktop.
No. So you can't see them on the desktop. But when you're on the app, you can, the podcast will obviously come up in your feed, but I also believe if you go to the page, there's a tab that says podcasts that you can
I have no idea.
click on. So it's through the app. New thing, stumbled upon it.
People do that.
I don't know, but it's just another place, if podcasts pick up
Amazon,
on there.
how do you get
Amazon? That? I'm not sure. I think it's Amazon Music is how it's kind of fed through, but apparently you can listen to podcasts on Amazon now too, so you can find us there. And then of course YouTube, if you want to see what we look like and the faces we make at each other.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Or you can see our dog. Yeah. My dog.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever actually see her. You just see your arm doing this weird thing you see her. Okay,
Aria, come here.
Said.
Hey, come here, girl.
Come here, Aria.
She's like, no.
Now she doesn't want to come.
Yeah, Q's pet me.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is, like, I call Aria, like people say, what kind of dog do you have? I say, St. Cloud dog. Right. And I just mean because she's a hunter. I mean, she's not hunting anything here. Right. But she's one that you throw in the back of your pickup truck and bring along hunting. Right. She was a rescue many, many years ago, so she's 9 going on 10.
Yep.
But anyway, she's a Catahoula cur.
Yeah. She's adorable.
She just doesn't get along with other dogs, the only ones that she knows. But she loves people, kids.
Yep.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So
for sure. So she's here. So definitely check us out on YouTube, podcasts, wherever you listen. If you have any suggestions for things that you'd like to hear on the podcast, go ahead and give us a call at 1-844-St. Cloud. That's STCLOUD. Or you can email us at discoverstcloud@gmail.com. We'd love to hear, any of your suggestions. We actually have a new series that we're going to be starting. You'll hear about next week.
That's right.
So come check us out then. All right. Well, we'll see you in the next podcast.